A big hello and welcome, folks. This is Oz Music Podcast, episode number 7. So saddle up as once again we've rustled you up another fantastic assortment of Aussie bands and artists for this week's show. I cannot believe we're at episode number 7 of our first season already. That is just crazy. Anyway, so this week finally brings back the interviews, kicking off with a wonderful little chat with Em from Web Rumours. We'll be talking love, life, and hey, hold on, wait a second. This isn't a Dr. Phil podcast, this is Oz Music Podcast. So what we will be chatting about is their latest music releases, their recent album launch, the Perth music scene, and okay, maybe a little bit about British bake-offs as well. So during the week, I did happen to catch the latest music video release from the Beavers. Seriously, it's the best damn video I've ever seen. Okay, that's enough with the dad jokes for now. Alright, on this week's episode, we have another killer lineup of bands and artists for your listening pleasure, including Butternut Sweatheart, The Disappointed, Alice Benfer, Good Pash, The Unioun, Gazey, and loads more awesome Aussie music, latest band news, and hopefully no more dad jokes. So first up, kicking off the show for tonight out of Sydney, this is KLP with her latest single release, Push.
Are you ready? Can I get a push? A little bit higher. Can I get a push? A little bit higher.
We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready?
Can I get a push? A little bit higher. Can I get a push? A little bit higher.
Something more.
We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one tell us where to go. Are you ready? We don't need no one
And that was KLP with her latest single, Push. What a pumping track to kick the show off. Awesome. Well, the multi-talented producer only just unveiled her electric new single We Just Played. Alongside news, she is dropping her debut album titled Giver this November. And in celebration of the release, she will be touring around the nation on her headline club tour. As you heard, the song puts KLP's vocals at the forefront and is an infectious thumping club track, written and produced entirely by KLP in her Sydney home studio. And in support of the stellar releases she's already put out this year, including Under the Influence, Until I Find You, and Dance Floor Filler Heater, she performed to huge crowds at Splendour in the Grass and played show-stopping sets at Curveball and Big Pineapple Music Festival. And as an artist, she has actually been DJing for nearly a decade now, producing, performing and recording all her own vocals, songwriting for others, as well as making mixes in her beloved Triple J House party role, which sadly she recently left at the end of 2018 to focus more on her music. While her ever-expanding repertoire is only set to get bigger with the release of her debut album this November. And get dance floor ready because, as I said, she is taking to the road on the Giver Tour to support the album launch this month. There is a swag of dates all up the East Coast and beyond to the West, so to catch one of her live shows at a venue near you, just head on over to her social pages as the dates are all there, and we will also list them for you on our website and Facebook as well. Okay, we better move on with the show. I hope you've put your time cards in, because next up tonight out of Adelaide is the Unioun.
I'll be digging up your grave by Saturday. And I've been feeling just like this since yesterday. And I feel it, I see it, I hear it, yeah, I feel it. Ooh, I'll be digging up your grave by Saturday. Inside my brain the other day, I never said I loved you straight to your face. And I know, and I know, and I know, yeah, I know, right, I'll be digging up your grave late tonight. 'Cause I feel like I've been lied to. Digging up your grave late tonight. I will be watching the sun go down for one last time. And I know that I'll put back all of your rattling bones. I'll be digging up your grave late tonight. To
Out of Adelaide, that was Aussie emo rock five-piece The Union from their debut album, the latest single titled Recording 55, which comes off the back of previously released singles Overthinking Everything and Know Me Well. The Union consists of Tommy, Nev, Muncie, Dave and Pete, and lead vocalist Tommy stepped into a new world of songwriting with the addition of an acoustic guitar. It was organic, taking the band to a whole new level of style and sound. They worked on their craft over the next year, perfecting each song until it was ready for the album. Tommy says it had to have the right feel, a natural flow of story and melody. Their influences include bands like Jimmy Eat World, Gyroscope, Taking Back Sunday, Moose Blood, and the Union's debut album titled 17, which was released back in April this year, is a heartfelt, emotional journey with stories of reflection, self-doubt, love, heartache, growing up and getting older. The band are now preparing for the next stage of their career, so to keep up to date with future releases and what the lads are up to next, be sure to head over to their Facebook page and hit the follow button. Okay, next up on tonight's show, playing a track from her latest EP, this is the delightful Georgia Mulligan. What a great track that was, Georgia Mulligan with Needed, coming from her sophomore EP titled Mirror, which will officially launch this week with a one-off show at Golden Age. We did feature Georgia a few episodes ago, so I won't go into full artist details again, but I really wanted to spin up another track for you now the latest EP has been released. Well, a quick rundown. The EP was written and recorded in the space of 2 years on bedroom floors and many recording studios from Western Australia to Sydney. And her ability to write emotive, vulnerable songs is once again on display alongside her impeccable vocals. The full-length EP includes already released singles Mirror, which is the track we played previously, alongside tracks So Long and The Dark, which have all garnered widespread support, and her previous breakout EP, Our Blood to Part, found rotation on FBI radio and regular spins on Triple J. Well, be sure to have a listen to the new EP Mirror. I know you will find it as brilliant as I have. So just head over to visit her social pages for all streaming and download links. Okay, rolling on with tonight's show. Next up is another band featured on a previous episode. They have dropped their latest single on us and details of a great event happening this weekend, which I'll tell you all about after we play their track. Out of Sydney, this is Gaia Rising with Bluebeard.
Bluebeard.
Now that is one band that never fails to please. That was Gaia Rising with their latest single, Bluebeard. You may remember Gaia Rising previously featured back on episode number 3, but we wanted to let you all know about a great event that's coming up this weekend, which gave us a sneaky excuse to spin up their latest track. Well, Central Coast Pride presents the Coastal Twist Arts and Culture Festival. It's run over 3 delicious days and naughty nights at the beautiful Yamina Beach. There's cabaret, drag, film, live music, dance parties and exhibitions, and of course Gaia Rising are performing on the Sunday afternoon, and they're super excited to be playing at this event, showcasing their 2 new singles they released this year. The Coastal Twist Festival is culminating in a huge oceanfront fair day at the Peninsula Recreation Precinct on the Sunday. It's all ages, all welcome. Bring your pooches and your picnic blankie, but most importantly, get in early to grab your spot. Accommodation has been selling fast across the coast, so if you are planning on staying for the long weekend, book today and think about the rest tomorrow. Okay, moving on tonight. Get ready to party. Welcome back. This is Crocodylus.
Will someone ring the mission bell? I'm throwing coins down a wishing well. Now I'm endless and dire, worse and worse by the passing hour. Ring, ring on my telephone. I pick it up to a dial tone. My head is spinning, driving me insane. Going where you going? I want you here. Don't leave, stand by my side. Fill me in, my mind's been stranded. Where have I been? It's been so long. Wake up, something's happening. I'm falling down again. Shouting knees will be the death of me. It's holding all that remains. Don't push me, I'm crumbling. I'll never rise again. And it looks like it ain't getting better, so fucking go ahead. Where you going? I want you here. Don't leave, stand by my side. Fill me in, my mind's been stranded. Where have I been? It's been so where you going? I want you here. Don't leave, stand by my side. Fill me in, my mind's been stranded. Where have I been? It's been so long.
And that was Crocodylus with Where You Going, coming from their new EP titled Enjoy. I just love that track. It really reminds me of Offspring, but better. Well, again, we did spin up a track from Crocodylus back on episode number 3, so I won't go right back into all the band details, but now that the fresh EP has been launched, we've been dying to air another track, and to let you all know that the Enjoy tour kicks off tomorrow night in Hobart. Well, the EP is just jam-packed with tracks born on the stage, and it'll take you straight from your living room to the mosh pit. So get yourself a head start and grab tickets to the Enjoy tour now. The 7-tracker will also be released on vinyl, featuring previously released singles Ghost and the track we played on episode number 3, Adrenaline, and that is available for purchase via Bargain Bin Records. The dates for the tour do go through October to December, and I don't have time to tell you all the dates and times, but I will quickly let you know all the venues. By the way, most of these gigs are with Israeli Chicks and Pistol Peaches. So, as I mentioned, first up, Brisbane Hotel Hobart, following with the Chop Festival. Next is Workers Club Melbourne, then Yours and Ours Festival, Marrickville Bolo in Sydney, the Cambridge Hotel Newcastle, the Bolo Campton, Crowbar Brisbane, the Northern Byron Bay, and finishing up with Saturday the 28th of December through to Wednesday the 1st of January, Lost Paradise, Glenworth Valley, New South Wales, and that one's with another talented Aussie artist, Mr. Matt Corby. So if one of those venues is near you, make sure you get along and support this rowdy bunch, and don't forget to have a listen to that new EP. Okay, well, it is that time of the show where we are bringing back the interviews. And as I previously mentioned, during the week, we were lucky enough to have a lovely little chat with the delightful Em Burrows from Perth's new wave outfit, Web Rumours. So without further ado, here is that chat.
Hello, this is Em speaking.
Yeah, hi Em, it's Damien here from Oz Music Podcast. How are you doing?
Hi, Damien. Good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, very well. Well,
Good.
big welcome and a massive thanks for finding the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, you're welcome. No worries.
That's good. I was going to do the big hype thing. Hi, it's Em Burrows from Where Bruno's coming. So, do you have a hype person for your gigs at all, or you just get
I
out
wish
and
I
do
had a hype person. I wish I even had a walk-on song, like
Yeah,
walking on music.
sometimes I think it's a little better just to get on and do your business
Yeah,
anyway.
I think so too.
Yeah, keep the expectations, So, but
That's right. That's right.
So we managed to get the time zone. I was talking to your press contact and had to make sure that we had the time zone, being over there in Perth and all, and me on the East Coast.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
so-
2 hours behind you.
Yeah, so hopefully I've called at the right time.
No, you have. Perfect. Yep, yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. So the album, Audio Video Disco, 10 tracks. You launched it back in August 26. That must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's always kind of nice. What's the word? Nice feeling just to sort of have something out and finished, because you sort of, most people are working on records for such a long time that by the time you put it out, it feels like you've been at it for quite a while.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, look at Tool with their last album. I think it was 10 years or something. All their fans were screaming out for it, but finally released. But no, I've had a good listen to the album. I love it. It's got a really nice, refreshing, sort of dreamy, calmy vibe. And
thanks.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a sucker for those sax lines and the keyboards and stuff. So kind of reminds me a little bit some of the songs of, Clean Bandit, that song featuring Jess Glynn. That please,
okay,
I'd rather be, yeah. And the music's, it's also educational. I had to Google what denizen was.
Well, sometimes I think it's quite common for a lot of artists, but like when I'm reading books and stuff like that and come across a word that I like, you sort of almost, mentally file it away for future reference. And that was one of those words. I was like, yeah, I like the sound of it. I like the way it kind of rolls off the tongue, and and then it just kind of popped up in that particular tune. Yeah,
it works well. No, it works really well, and I think that is the case for a lot of songwriters. It doesn't stop. It's a 24/7 thing. It could be a word or a visual thing, and it just triggers something, and you go and put it to a word. It's amazing. But
yeah, definitely. I think most sort of creative people tend to be naturally sort of hypersensitive to sort of visual and all kinds of stimulus. Actually, you sort of I heard someone once describe it as almost being sort of skinless, insofar as you're just constantly taking on,
like a sponge.
Yes, yeah, stimuli from around you, and I think it's definitely like that. I know I certainly when I'm reading or if I'm, at an art gallery or if I'm just walking through the park, there's always things that you're sort of in some way kind of taking on board, and it might not be, immediately obvious, but again, it can kind of crop up later on in some fashion in your music.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the launch show, that was on the 31st, a few days later. That I watched bit of the video. Looked like it was a great night. You had a lot of fun, I presume.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, look, it was a pretty special show because we actually put together a choir specifically for that show. So I kind of arranged a couple of the songs from the album for like 4-part kind of almost like gospel choir.
Yep.
And then we just did a call out on our Facebook page and to ask whether anybody, wanted to kind of be involved in like a community choir kind of project. And we had a really good response, and also just we're very lucky to have a bunch of people who actually really good at singing. So we had this great choir, and
that's awesome.
they joined us for a couple of the tunes, and we had a whole stack of sort of imagery around this record that was involved the colour yellow, which basically because the record cover was yellow, we just sort of ran with it, as a sort of a branding thing. And so the choir was all decked out in yellow, and it was really special, lovely show actually. Yeah.
Excellent. Were there any other support acts for you or?
Yeah, we had our mates Gazey played. They're on the same record label as us, on Group Therapy Records.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're spinning up a track of theirs as well a bit later.
Yeah, they've got a record coming out, And Lana Rosny played, and now I'm having a mental blank. A band called Special Feelings played as well.
Okay.
So, it was a nice sort of, line up on the night.
I've noticed a lot of Perth acts actually. Must be a big good scene over there. Sort of tell me a little bit about the scene, the Perth music scene.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been involved in the Perth scene for probably just a bit over 10 years in a lot of different capacities. Like I've run a small business. I actually now work at West Australian Music, so I'm right in the kind of the industry, I suppose, the local industry. But yeah, I mean, look, there've been all kinds of even things written about the Perth scene because it does have this sort of unusual. Capacity for producing really amazing music. And, we've got bands, who are kind of, internationally absolutely smashing it. I mean, Tame Impala's the obvious one, but now obviously Methyl Ethyl, and we've got people like Stella Donnelly. And so, I mean, we're very isolated here, obviously. Like for us, even to bring a band to the east coast of Australia on a tour is cost prohibitive for most bands. I mean, I have a 6-piece band. I would be looking at, at least $600 a person in terms of just flights, just to get over there, let alone anything else, I think we tend to sort of create quite high quality stuff here just because we're sort of, I don't know, we have our own sort of microcosm, as it were, of an industry. And it's just really, it's interesting. I think what we see from other places around the world is the cream of the crop. So what we see from the East Coast is the best bands. So we are looking to them as a standard.
Okay.
So if that sort of makes sense, in the same way
absolutely.
that, what we see in Australia that comes out of New York, let's say, is only the cream of the crop for every band, like, for example, the Strokes or something. There's literally thousands of bands.
That's right.
Playing a worse version of that,
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to hear them all too. It's just like...
Well, that's it, yeah. But, I mean, I think the thing is that because we see the cream of the crop, that's our yardstick here in Perth. So that's what we all, kind of aspiring to. So I think we do generally produce some really interesting and high-quality music. And it's a tight scene, I mean, it's very close scene. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, back to the album. I see it's been added on Spotify on Fresh Finds and a few playlists. That must be pretty exciting as well as the AMRAP charts.
Yeah,
AMRAP's
totally.
Sorry, I was going to say AMRAP's a great thing for artists, isn't it? Independent artists getting their music to the community stations.
Oh, look, it's awesome. Yeah, and it's amazing.
You get an email. You get an email and it's like, our track was played in, somewhere in the middle of wherever that you've never heard of on the, afternoon session. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, look, it's awesome. AMRAP's great. And, I mean, I'm a presenter at RTRFM as well. So, I totally appreciate the value of community radio generally. And I think as a, kind of grassroots medium for getting people to hear your music and stuff like that, there's actually nothing better really than community radio. But it's also quite surprising how few artists know that the AMRAP platform actually exists.
Yeah.
So when I'm, I work with a lot of young artists, and so when I'm sort of saying to them, they say, oh, I need some help with, publicity or getting my music out there. I say, well, one of the first things you should do is, upload it to AMRAP, and they go, what? So
what?
It's funny.
Air it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So six members in the band, and you look like you're all good friends and have a lot of fun. So
yeah. I mean, look, the way that the band works essentially. So it kind of the live band is separate really from the studio project. So the studio project is kind of my project.
Yep.
And
so you're the boss when you go on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I play as much as I can basically. And I arrange all the songs, obviously, like write the parts and co-produce and stuff like that. And then essentially I'm just very lucky to have a bunch of great players who do it live with me then.
Yeah.
So,
and I believe, is it Ryan, the drinker of tea, that also helped out with the album and the tuner of roads?
Oh, yeah. Rian.
Rian, there you go. Yeah. I'm terrible with that.
Yeah, no. So Rian actually, his band Shy Panther is also involved in the group therapy label, and we work quite closely on a lot of stuff. We have a shared love of not just of certain kinds of music, but also of like British reality TV shows. So we
okay, like which ones?
Yeah. Oh, mainly things involving sort of, like gardens or baking. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. As long as it's not that, was it Jersey Shore or something?
Oh, no. We love things like the Great British Bake Off. So we sort of bonded over that, but now we make records, which is really nice.
Excellent. Well, what can you tell us a little bit maybe about your recording process? And do you sort of sit down first do the vocals, or do you get a...
Yeah, I sort of write, sorry, I cut you off there. I write everything digitally, like in an electronic format now. So I either write in GarageBand or I write in Ableton. So what I take into the studio is usually a fairly sort of comprehensive demo.
Yes. And
we basically go through a process of replacing the tracks in the demo. So we'll sort of export the whole demo into a different workstation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll put it all in Pro Tools, or we'll put it all in Ableton or something. Yep. And just go about replacing the sound. So where I might have had a soft synth, we might put like a DX7 or a Juno or some sort of real synth, hardware synth. And kind of do it like that, and then build the tracks, and sometimes actually leave parts of the demo in there if they contribute in a way.
Such,
or they just create a vibe. Even if they're quite rough, they can sort of really make the vibe work better. So kind of do that, and then I usually do vocals last. So it'd be sort of like get the instrumental kind of tracks all done, and then come in and do vocals at the end. And I mean, I do that mainly because I think we might even do a rough mix of the instrumental tracks, and then you've got a very solid foundation there to sort of put your vocals on top of, and that can determine the kind of tone that you take with the vocal or the way you deliver it. So
absolutely.
That's the way, I think that's probably the way most people do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how to,
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's great. Look, how did you come up with the name of the album as well? Audio, video, disco.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be a bit of a story.
Yeah, actually, a little bit, I guess. It was another thing I read, actually. I was reading a travel book, and the writer referred to something that she saw in Italy, and a phrase that she read, which was io audio, io video, io discere, which is a Latin phrase for I hear, I see, I learn.
That's interesting.
And which I quite liked. So I just kind of rejigged it a bit, and and turned it into the title.
Oh, awesome. No, that's very cool. So what is up next? What's up next for the project?
Yeah. I mean, I've sort of got probably 3/4 of another record kind of ready to go, but I'm not really in a rush, actually. I'd like to sort of take some time, spend some more time on writing. I really enjoy it. I don't get as much time to do it as I'd like. So there will be another album, in the next sort of 18 months or something.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. In the meantime, just sort of, playing some shows and, still trying to, get the other one out as much as we can.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to do a maybe next year at some stage in winter or something, do a Oz Music Podcast gig where we can, get a few of the popular artists together and do a show or something. But we'll talk about that. We'll have to fly over to the East Coast. So.
Yeah. Oh, hey, am I?
Yeah.
I'm always open to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I guess we better wind down. Look, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks very much again for
thanks,
giving us the
David.
opportunity to have a chat. And
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah, so look, we are going to spin up another one of your tracks from the album. So I thought I'd let you decide which one you'd like us to play.
Oh, thanks. Let me think about that. Maybe Heavenly Bodies.
Okay. No worry. Any reason why?
Well, a couple. I guess it's near the end of the album, so it doesn't get as much airplay.
Oh, there you go. I was hoping you were going to say Chrysalis, but, everyone's got their favourites. Music's subjective, so.
You're welcome to play that. No, that one gets quite a bit of airplay already. Yeah,
All right. No worries. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the screen when you said, which one did you say you'd like to play?
Heavenly Bodies.
Heavenly Bodies. Okay, no worries. All right, well, we'll give that a spin. Look, thanks so much again. It's been great to have a chat to you, and hopefully we can do it again in the future.
Yeah, sounds great, Damien. Cheers.
No
Thanks
worries.
very much.
All right, Em from Web Rumours. Okay, see you later. Have a great day.
See you. You too. Bye.
Awesome. Well, as you all heard, Em did request to play Chrysalis. Only joking. Okay, here is Web Rumours with Heavenly Bodies.
I've been objectified like a sideboard underneath an open window.
Wicked track out of Perth. That was new wave act Web Rumours with Heavenly Bodies. And don't forget, head over to their socials, Facebook, etc. Hit the like button and show this great band from the West some love. Okay, next up on the show tonight, hailing from Sydney, this is Butternut Sweetheart.
Running away from me, and it's high time we go our own way. It's taking the longest time to wither away from me. It's taking the longest time to fade to grey. And so take my hand, leave my body. My neck, believe my mind. It's taking the longest time to weather away from me. It's taking the longest time to fade to grey. I'm walking in the same direction, on the other side of the road. Ain't nobody coming, ain't nobody coming. It's about to change, but you're already gone. Ain't nobody coming, ain't nobody coming. Running away. It's taking the longest time to weather away from me. It's taking the longest time to fade to grey. I'm walking in the same direction, on the other side of the road. Ain't nobody coming, ain't nobody coming. And the light's about to change, but you've already gone. Ain't nobody coming, ain't nobody coming. Light's about to change, light's about to change, light's about to change. Light's about to change. Running away from me. Run, running away.
Very clever track. That was Butternut Sweetheart with two white lines. Well, Butternut Sweetheart is the musical project of Sydney-based multi-instrumentalist and producer Mr. Luke Mosley. And although officially formed in late 2018, Butternut Sweetheart has been percolating below the surface for years, and Mosley continues to push musical boundaries, and he employs a very interesting concept where organic source material is manipulated to make it sound like it's electronic. To give you an example, like making your piano sound like a synth, or on the flip side, making electronic sounds seem organic, such as using synths to sound like they have a voice. Well, the new single explores the feeling of connection and loss, and as described by Mosley, I found myself feeling disconnected from someone, even though I thought we were on the same page, and I had heard the words, "we're not moving in the same direction," to describe the emotional distance. That stuck with me. And as you heard, the track features the familiar tones of an Australian traffic light going off, which was a source of inspiration for the song. He says, "Walking is often my principal mode of transport. I can't help but sing little songs or rhythms in my head when the crossing signal goes." It took a while to work out how exactly to incorporate the crossing samples into the song, but I love how quickly the road crossing induced panic becomes a tuneful element. So to find out any more info on this very talented Sydney artist, make sure you head over to his socials, check out his latest news and say hi. Okay, moving on tonight is another great act out of Perth. What's happening over there? Anyway, they are a band who never disappoints. This is The Disappointed. That was Perth Grunge New Wavers, The Disappointed, with their latest release, We Don't Dream. And that track was only just dropped last week and is the freshest cut from their debut album titled Escapism. And it has been signalled for release through Grey Blue Pink this Friday. Great track. I love that massive anthem vibe it has about it. Honestly, it sounds like a battalion of guitarists. Very cool, very cool. As you heard, the track is heavy pop, catchy as hell, expertly crafted, and explores the pervasive sense of hopelessness that has infused the millennial culture as it slowly inherits the world from the baby boomers. What surprise we're paying for the widespread adoption of this worldview, and where is this nihilism taking us? Big questions. The Disappointed will be launching the album at the Sewing Room on Saturday the 5th of October with support from Dulcie Blue and Bad Friends. So if you are in the area, get yourself off the couch and get along and support this great band. Okay, rolling on with tonight's show, you will not believe where this next band is from. Hailing from Perth. What? This is actually the band that Em from Web Rumours mentioned earlier in the show, who both work under the same label, Group Therapy Records. This is Gazey with River.
Another clings to a lover, I'm no other.
Do-do-do-do. That is so catchy. That was Perth art pop prodigies Gazey with River. Wow, what an awesome song. I love it. It's got a real Frank Zappa vibe about it. That's what I hear anyway. I'd really like to know if they've got a bit of a Zappa influence in their music. They'll have to let me know. Anyway, Soul brings together the band's progressive art pop sound with the aid of a strong DIY production aesthetic, featuring an impressive cache of synths and meticulous arrangements that listeners and critics alike have come to expect from this brilliant five-piece. The freshest cut from the album and leading the release was Society, a self-reflective take on relationships with a bittersweet tone and expressive personal lyricism, inspired by the likes of Feist and Jenny Lewis. The album is being launched at the Aardvark Fremantle on Thursday, October the 3rd, and at the Bird Northbridge on Saturday, October the 5th. That is this weekend. You've got to get along. So if you are in Fremantle, get along to the show and maybe let us all know how it went on our Facebook page. And of course, as always, if you want to keep up to date with their latest news and releases, just head on over to their socials and have yourself a stalk. Well, up next is a track from a wonderful singer-songwriter from the East Coast this time. This is Alice Benfer with Beautiful Sound.
When I dream, you won't reach me there. Deep within my dreaming hours, time stops your runaway. There I believe in magical powers. Beautiful sounds I can hear. Follow me round the atmosphere, whispering on the wind, feeling the love flow in. Moonbeams are shining down on me, casting a path to my sanctuary. There I believe in magical powers. Beautiful sounds I can hear. Follow me round the atmosphere, whispering on the wind, feeling the love flow in. Closing my eyes so my mind can see. Deep within each of us lies harmony. Beautiful sounds I can hear. Follow me round the atmosphere, whispering on the wind, feeling the love flow in. Beautiful sounds
the talented Alice Benfer with Beautiful Sound, and it truly is a beautiful song. Well, Alice is a singer-songwriter hailing from Gympie in Queensland, and she was previously the lead singer in a country cover band for years, but now enjoys performing regularly as an original solo artist. Her debut EP Devilman was really well received, and from it her single Driving actually reached the Country Track's top 40 national charts. Nice. Well, Alice's latest EP, titled Cowgirl Rocking, has a sweet, refreshing, uplifting vibe and was recorded at Rancombe Street Studios in Sydney. And all but one song was co-written with the one and only Garth Porter from the legendary Aussie band Sherbet. How's that? Pardon the pun, but that must have been a heck of a lot of fun and a great learning curve from one of Australia's finest. If you remember, Garth was actually the keyboard player of Sherbet, and he co-wrote many of the band's songs, including their 1976 hit, How's That? Very cool. Well, she continues to hone her songwriting skills, performing regularly, and will be one of the many artists attending Tamworth Country Music Festival in 2020. So if you'd like to have a listen to her stunning second EP, just scroll on over to her Facebook, etc., and you should find all the info you need for streaming and download links. Okay, I do believe we have arrived to the final track for this week's episode. So before we give it a spin, I guess it is that time to quickly do the usual shout outs. So firstly, a huge thanks to all of you bands and artists for sharing your latest music with us. I truly do feel honoured to be able to host this show and support all of you on your musical endeavours. And once again, thanks so much to Artie's Music for all their support and help behind the scenes. So if you are looking for any recording equipment, studio gear or instruments, etc., you really need to check their range and prices, and you can find them at their retail stores in Brisbane and Townsville, or if you prefer to shop online like I do, just hit them up at artiesmusic.com.au 24 hours a day. Website link will be in the show description. And finally, I definitely cannot forget you, our loyal listener who tunes in and hangs around with me until the end of the show every week. I really do appreciate your valued support. And just to remind you all, if any of you do wish to tune in and listen to any of the past episodes, read past show notes, or even find details on any of the previously featured artists, etc., just head on over to our website at ozmusicpodcast.com, and it is all there in one place waiting for you. Okay, our final band in tonight's stellar lineup is the recently formed firebrand four-piece known as Good Pash, and they've already made a solid name for themselves in the local scene as one of the most exciting new bands, starting off originally as an experiment, a way to test the waters and to play shows that are loud and messy while still retaining that classic storyteller song style. 2019 did see a bunch of singles released in the lead up to the debut EP titled Gen 1. And they say that the EP is an expression of their original selves. It's them coming together personally and musically. So they decided to call it Gen 1 because it represents the first musical iteration of Good Pash. I can only see more great things coming from this band, so be sure to keep an eye out for them in the future kicking goals. And naturally, go and have a solid listen to this awesome new EP. You will not be disappointed. Well, the single we're going to spin up is a really tender moment from the EP, and I cannot think of a better song to take us out tonight. So this is Good Pash with A Yacht in Sydney Harbour.
There was a girl I used to live with. She wore pants with holes in the crotch and balanced cups of tea on textbooks on her bed. Sometimes I would play music in my room and she would come in. She could never hang out in the daytime and eventually not in the nighttime. 'Cause if you suddenly realize you're having a good time, that means it's just about to end. Love letter to a friend. And I've lived with other girls. One blew 20 grand on her 21st. She says she wished she'd just gone to the pub. She said her inheritance was a curse. And she was too drunk to even remember it. Imagine a $20,000 bar tab between you and 30 of your closest two-bit friends. On deck, on a yacht in Sydney Harbor. Not even your mother or your father there to keep you in check. Somebody told me once that if you want to be a good liar, just plan to tell the truth. Then in the moment your brain will go into fight or flight mode and do all the hard work for you. And if you get found out, just make up some excuse. Say you didn't do it for you. You did it for the greater good. And just remember that if you make it worth their while, anyone will forgive you. And then you can walk out into the daylight. You can look at yourself in the mirror and feel alright. You can tell other people what they should and shouldn't do. And if you keep up your front, they will listen to you. Imagine a $200,000 bar tab between you and your mom and dad and all your primary school